Welcome, I'm Karenann macdonald. Thank you for joining me. This is going to be a little, I think, kind of an update for some people. You know, a lot of people are just getting into sort of the vibrational medicine, energetic medicine, frequency medicine. We hear different terms bantered around like biofeedback. We hear about things like tuning forks, essential oils, but more so what I'm here to talk about a little bit is about home versions of using voice activated frequencies, how to actually take those tuning forks or frequencies and put them into an app that you can use. Okay, because they now have got the technology available to us, and that is courtesy of INSIGHTHEALTHAPPS, and that was developed by Ryan Williams. He's been in the industry a long time. He's developed many apps. There's probably a couple dozen over the years. And a lot of these things you hear about, you know, the Odyssey, the Genius, the Home Genius, the BIOVIBE, all those things, RIFE, radionics, those are his life machine. Again, a lot of us were in the field like the last 20, 30 years, and we have evolved, and I want to thank him because a lot of the ones that you're seeing here, hi, run this on your phone, this app, those are usually knockoffs of what he developed, you know, probably 20 years ago. So let's go back and we're going to see where the technology is really taking us, and how these different ones here that we're using at INSIGHTHEALTHAPPS that I prefer to work with, even though I've got 6 or 8 kicking all around here, these are the things that I find are, one, the most economical, they're the most user-friendly, and they're adaptable. Plus, once you buy a software, the software upgrades. Kind of like you have, you know, iPad, or you have an upgrade come down, we have upgrades on it. So you're not stuck with the device that you've paid and it's limited to what was done at that particular year at that time. So I'm going to get a little bit into it, and we're going to talk a little bit about RIFE and radionics, and I'm going to talk about these apps that you can put onto an iPad tablet or your phone or a Mac if you've got an M1 interface. So we're going to go here, and those people, if you haven't looked at my Facebook, I encourage you to do that, because that's actually where a lot of this information is being put down here. So one of the things as we go into looking at the Genius, and looking at RIFE, looking at Scalar, looking at all these technologies and all these different things that people seem to be quite confused about what's going on, hopefully we can make things a little bit simpler for you. And that's actually what we'd like to do, is encourage you to take a look at these, and hopefully in the next 30 minutes you're going to learn quite a bit. And it's going to be something I'm going to encourage you to go home and try, because there are home versions. All of those different ones I showed you back here have got trials for at least 1 week. So you have the ability to try out 11 different devices, and I'm going to go through those and where you can try them out, and if it's something that you want to do. Right now, for basically under $50, you can put a down payment, and it's actually something that you can own outright, but you can have all the availabilities of anything that a therapist would be using, a naturopath doctor, or even a medical doctor that's using these in the new spectrum of what we're seeing. And I'm going to take you into some of the different hospital and allopathic and research centers and how we've been using it in Russia and even in different areas, Canada, and different things, how we've expanded in the last few years. So let's take a look here, shall we? So I'm going to take you to Facebook. And this is my Karenann macdonald. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage you to go to the photos and go to the albums. Under here, you're going to see a RIFE and Scalar and Genius and frequency codes to learn about. So there's a whole different section on how to get a hold of them and what you can do. So we're going to just go down in here. There's lots of videos I've put for you, how they developed, where they came from, how you can actually start doing it for just home. Again, if you want to go into professional, become a therapist, all those are available, and most of these are available for a very nominal cost, if not free. So I'm going to take a look at these, and I'm going to also show you how the doctors are using this, and they use some hidden words again, usually in Europe and in Russia, but they're starting to come into Canada and also into the States as well here. So a lot of things will go back through here, and I've got some YouTubes and some Rumbles, so I'm going to encourage you to go there and also into that. So let's remember here that the beaming of radio waves goes into the brain. It goes into all the different senses, your different cranial nerves. So what you're doing is you can actually supercharge, or again, boost you up. We are magnetic therapy. Let's not forget that when someone crashes, we use a electrical magnetic device to run a charge through the body. And again, a lot of people are confused by these terms, and hopefully we'll straighten out some of them for you today here. If you have any questions, I've got a BitChute that was done by Michelle Martin. It's called Quantum Chit Chat. There's also a Telegram group with this. Again, if you go to YouTube, you have to go to my lives to see what's going on, and hopefully you'll join me at Frequency Fridays at 5 p.m. and that's usually 5 to 6 p.m. on Pacific time. And again, they're uploaded and recorded, but to the live section of my YouTube and Rumble. So let's go in here and just see, what is this all about? What's the hype all about? Let's clarify some of this for you. So in here, let's take a look. This is what we call RIFE, or radionics, and the RIFE in radionics is absolutely amazing. So again, there are code books that you can buy or download the PDFs for free. But basically, for almost everything, there's a frequency. If you want to think of shingles or cancers or acidity or pain or different muscles, joints, just different vertebrae, if you've got lower back pain, all of these can be accessed with these different codes that we have. So let's take a look at that, shall we? And we're going to go into here and take a boo. So here we're going to go, and again, let's take a look and see what's on the list. Where can we go with this kind of technology? And here we go. So a lot of people, if you have any questions, these are my credentials, and that's just a few of them. So I started off as a former neonatal nurse, and with the reps and stuff like that for the Saskatchewan Union of Nurses, and also became a quantum energy medical educator. We have got a university called the IQUIM, which is Integrative Medical Universities, putting out PhDs, masters, and all sorts of things. Coaches, whatever you want, but right up there it's run by doctors and nurses. And again, we've developed our own natural medical system. And this one is not captured, I would say. As you know, a lot of the naturopathic, chiropractic, and a lot of these are actually requiring people take those injections just to even get in. So I question the validity and the captured of that. So there we go. And again, complementary alternative medicine, and also I've got the quantum biofeedback in there too, colon hydrotherapy, peristeam therapy as well, taken some live blood cell, lots of different courses over the years. So everything from matrix energetics to Reiki master to all sorts of things, a little bit of body talk, all those things are definitely here. So let's take a look at this, shall we? Okay, so there we go. Those are my channels you can take a look at. In here, what we're looking at is what you call Raymond Royal Rife, R-I-F-E. So you hear this, and this is where they're starting to use sound waves. And again, you do not have to hook up people. This is where I'm going to go into what Ryan has done a little bit different. When you hook up people, and we know that it's starting to exacerbate people and can put them into turbo cancer when you have someone that's just selling machines or wishing to do live or distance therapy that is not appropriately trained. You do not, under any circumstances, if a woman is pregnant, if she's nursing even, or has a pacemaker, and pacemakers, if it got really microscopic, could be what was injected up your nose and also sprayed into the nose and also injected into the arms in the last couple of years. And that could include any kind of different form, because these kind of things, electrical, pulsed, magnetic, electronic, and wearables, can actually excite the graphene, the nanotubules, the lipid nanoparticles, and all the other stuff that's in there that can actually hook you up or tether you like a Neuralink. And so this becomes part of the wide area body network. These sensors are basically been saturated into people and to the animals, to the livestock, to the Internet of Animals, Internet of Things, all sorts of things. So again, have someone that is appropriately trained with the appropriate credentials, please. In here, what you're seeing, and I really appreciate the work that Sabrina Wallace has put out at the Synergy Group. If you've been looking at some of that, you're going to see that what we see is a very fine spectrum. So where you see the visible light, that's all we see. And if you had a, basically spectrum for hearing or auditory hearing tests, again, it's going to be very limited as well. So in here in the middle, you'll see something called terahertz, and that becomes an issue when you're dealing with terahertz wands. These things, again, may trigger. You may not notice it. Your clients may not notice it. For sometimes 5, 4, 6, 7, 8 treatments, could be over 2-3 weeks, and that becomes the problem with wearables and patches with these micro-meshed, microscopic things that are embedded that take the place, and slowly, again, you don't feel anything, you may even feel better. But what you're doing is you're slowly assimilating in with this technology, which is not natural. So this becomes a problem. When you're dealing with radionics and different things here, I want you to see where we're starting to work with, okay, radio waves and spectrums. Okay, so again, you can look into what Nikola Tesla did. He was not the only one that was doing this by a long shot, but you can look at the RIFE technology, our new dramatic medicine, or known as hammerhead. We do all of this. What we found is that these frequencies in the radio wave, or hooked up electrically, instead of electrical shock therapy, can destroy what you know as tumors, fibroids, cysts, bacteria, fungi, prions, tapeworms, all sorts of parasites, all sorts of things. So it worked on a physical, mental, emotional level. And in here, there's some of the original technology, which I still have used. It's called a quantum biofeedback. It was one of the original ones 25 years ago. That was about a $50,000 investment, and still is. So again, you can go from just playing with it to getting level 1, 2, 3 to masters to getting a quantum doctorate at the IQ UAM. So again, you're seeing that we are dealing with the clients. They can be at home, or in this case, tethered in the bottom right. What you'll see is that you're going to stay at least away from the client, at least about 8 to 10 feet, because you don't want to be introducing your stuff into the biofield. And again, you can do pets, lands, or houses. So there are different ways to do this all over. So we've seen a lot of things in biofeedback, and you'll see it where we're getting the spectrum, and we'll talk a little bit about oscillation plates and stuff like that. There's an image of me that was after I'd been burnt a little bit with what's called direct energy weapon, or these terahertz kind of things. You can see the burning in the white. There's over 10 degrees difference between my skin and the eyes in different areas that were radiated. So again, you cannot tell whether it's you, a dog, a cat, or an ostrich, what's really going on with someone, because you can't see under the surface into the interstitium or into the other thermal imaging that we're using here. So again, on a great day, again, having plasma technology, getting all the chakras aligned, getting your biofield up, this is the kind of stuff that we want to see, that plasma pink, looking like a pink flamingo almost. And again, when people are depressed, what you'll see is that we can actually we could take this. As you can see, there's a little tobacco plat, Hopi tobacco. It's converted into essential oils, captured through these sound oscillator waves, and then run into our computers, picks up the computer algorithm, and then can basically feed it back to you. That's why it's called biofeedback. So basically, we can run that herb into a different essence. And then we can run it not only into you, we can run it into crystals, we can also run it into water. So primarily what I like to do is electrical, basically aquaponic or hydroceuticals. Okay, so again, you cannot see on the inside. Some people are able to see the different spectrums, but once you have these biofields broken, your acupuncture meridians, again, I want you to remember that close to 80% of your immune system, I will say, is outside the system, not inside. So you're taking blood, urine, cultures, biopsies, which I totally disagree with, doing mammograms, which I totally disagree with. There are other options in doing thermal imaging or biofeedback scalar things. So we're not just running RIFE, we're doing it as a testing assessment device. Again, looking in here, just again, that spectrum. I want you to see where we're working. So again, I'm going to be working with the biofeedback machines more so closer to the ultrasound, to the basically into the radio wave, just like you're listening to a radio station. The Genius just allows me, or those biofeedbacks, to tune into you. That's all. Okay, so let's take a look. We're going to be scanning all those things. So we have the potential to actually scan your eyes like iridology with our computers. Look at the colon, look at the minerals, look at the absorption, look at the malabsorption, look at dental, look at emotions, look at all your cranial nerves, vagal nerves. All the spinal assessments can be done because, again, those are connected. And then, again, picking out the right herbs and oils so we can actually measure each one of those. So if you think this is one frequency, that's another frequency, we're going into those different spectrums for you. And again, really non-invasive. So in here, the more alkaline you are, the better the waves work. The more acidic you are, the denser you are. And that's where we start not being able to remove our toxins. So this becomes an issue, doesn't it? And again, that affects our consciousness and subconscious. So again, we have to be very careful in protecting your field. You don't know what you're picking up, what's being transmitted, what's being shedded on above. And again, you could be an asymptomatic carrier, and a lot of things you could be asymptomatic since you were a child, and then it starts flaring up, whether it's shingles from your, child pox or whatever you want, and chicken pox and everything pox that they did, right? They child poxed us out, right? Okay, so anyway, one of the things we do is we test with pH, and I always suggest people get their pH between 7.5 to 8, first morning urine. And again, these are more extensive urine tests. You can get these urinalysis strips again on Amazon. So take a look here, because some of the radio waves, like what we're doing, you can actually penetrate into the system, where a microwave just kind of fries you, or when you're saying UV, A, B, and C coming down, where it's affecting, and again, the degree, the type of wave, and how the penetration works. So not all one size fits one here by a long shot. These are some of the plasma RIFE machines and stuff you're starting to see. You see them done by Paul Harris, by the Therify group, and also Quantifies and all those different things. So there's a lot of different plasma, and you can look at Zish. He's got a lot of the violet rays. We'll go into that. You can get their home wand systems. You can get, again, usually $2,000-3,000 and up. And again, looking into, plasma wands. Do you see a lot of people use it for off Amazon for about $100? You can get just a few of the wands. Not quite the same, but again, there's a difference between analog and digital here. So again, we're going in to see what we can do. Each one of those nodal points is, again, what's coming out when you're grounded and not grounded. So we can tell by color, by frequency, just by thermals. And again, these are some of the bifilar Tesla coils. I've got quite a few of them if you're interested. You can stack them. You can do multi-wave oscillation plates, get harmonized. Again, crystals, waters, rodent coils, all sorts of stuff could be jacked up into ours in here. And you can actually taste the entire difference of the water. Totally different. It's smoother, it's silkier, it's all sorts of things. So again, let's take a look at this RIFE machine. You're going to basically plug it in, A to Z, what's your condition, hips, back, whatever, type it in, see if there's a code for it, and there you go. You just push the amount of seconds or minutes that you want to do, and it starts running through what's called a sweep. And so it may not just be one frequency. You might need 10, 15 different frequencies going in different areas, muscles, joints, tissue, all sorts of things, fluids, in or out. So again, you can't see a lot of this technology. We don't see it with our eyes, but it's occurring around you. So this is the areas that we're working in, again, to test your supplements. And again, one of the forerunners, University of Saskatchewan as well, girl, in the old days was Dr. Halder Clark. So if you haven't seen all this, take a look at it. There's a cure for all diseases in theCureZone.com. I talk a lot about these different cleanses, and she was able to identify that almost every disease on this planet is due to heavy metals toxicity, and which allows, like composting, which allows your viruses, bacteria, fungus to come in, just like you see something rotting in your, on the counter here. So anyway, these are great books, Electrical Magnetic Frequencies, again, pulsing to rifing. So PEMF is not the same as RIFE, okay? And in here, this is where Sabrina talks. We might talk medically in our anatomy and physiology and our medical, dead languages of Latin legalese and medicalese. But there you go. In the computer terms, you can almost assimilate something very closely. So it's quite interesting when you get into this and look at the wide area body network. Again, take a look at it. That will be Sabrina Wallace in there on the Synergy group. And there's quite a bit to be found here. So if you don't know about these materials, some of what we're teaching is when we talk about matrix energetics, Qigong, Tai Chi, prana, meditation, just feeling the energy here, whether you do Pilates, whatever it might be, discipline. One of the things is the mind is the matter. So she'll talk a little about what's called block shunt, shunt and block and all these sort of things. Basically, that mind is the matter. You're actually turning them and commanding them to turn down. So block, shunt, shield, and rebuke. There's a couple different versions. And again, that's just putting some words to what you're doing at the time, because you need to know how to do this, okay? All your smart meters, your phones, light posts, everything. Everything's been weaponized right now to get into for the 6 and 7G, and it is running. Okay, so there are some of the things in here looking at the Synergy channel. So this is stuff you need to know what is going on, because right now The governments have the ability to actually monitor you in different facilities and data centers that are going to use these AI data centers collecting information. They have the information. It's underneath your interstitium in their skin, and it's moving all in and around you. Some people can feel it, some people can't, but this is the tethering. And if they want to know your brain wave, to your heart rate, to your temperature, anything, to your blood sugar, they have the ability to do it remotely, you guys. In here, so again, we're talking about frequencies, raising the vibration. So I suggest everyone get some tuning forks and some essential oils. And whether you can take baking soda water or not, you got to raise your vibration, you guys. And again, each one of those vertebrae here has a frequency in a hertz. So you might be at 102 hertz, 103, 104 megahertz, and up and up and up and up. Okay, so all of those have got some degree of vibration. So again, we can use the ultrasound in there, which we'll go into. And these are actually the code books from here. So as you can see, there we go, 242, 192, 171. So again, every organ, every vertebrae, every slice, every little sliver has got a frequency, color, and code. And again, that's why it's so important that you're eating properly, eating vibrational food, not cooked food as much, and definitely not GMO, because you won't have any energy. So it will be zapping your energy. So take a look here. So those that know the musical spiral, see how we're tuning in, colors, and those colors also correlate to your minerals, by the way, on the periodic table. So just by actually me testing you, I can actually tell what minerals you're low in. Okay? So again, all measurable. Everything's measurable. Sacred geometry, all of this. And again, your beliefs can affect that. So what you think, and if you're operating on incorrect information, that may be sabotaging your health. Okay? Again, each one of those colors is accessible by a little microwave current. And I don't mean my microwaves, but a very minute, subtle wave. So again, you can put your food on and clear it. You can put, again, whatever. If you knew about the chemtrails coming up, you can see what I did is I developed some here called Serratio marcinium. I picked up 3-4 different varieties of them, did sweeps, and I entered them into our devices so that we could deal with that. So again, these are taken off some of the different books here. And again, even if you're feeling depressed, anxiety, what you think is schizophrenia, bipolar, all that stuff, diabetes, hypertension, we usually have the code for that to start boosting up the immune system. So I want you to think of it like going into a battery booster here. These, again, some of the books are free PDFs you can get online. And again, these are just a few of the collection. As you can see, I have a large amount of books here just in biofield and basically biofeedback healing. So again, take a look at it and again, see how we can enhance you. So those are some of the things in here. Many different waves. Most of these devices will only have like square waves. So you're buying these devices for a couple $100 or $1,000 and they may only emit one waveform. Ours has the ability to be adaptable and flexible, and it can change what those waveforms do. So either basically to hook you up like a battery booster or to go in there and see if we can target something a little bit deeper in the tissues. So again, lots of different, you're seeing here remedy plates and all sorts of fun things here. So in the hospital, I just want to run up in here for just a minute. Let's take a look here and take a look. So this is actually one of the videos I did. I encourage you to go take a look at that. Ryan Williams has done some great things at INSIGHTHEALTHAPPS, and in the INSIGHTHEALTHAPPS, what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at that particular one called Royal RIFE. So let's just take a listen here for a second, all right?
Now that I have logged in as an existing customer, there's a few things I'd like to bring to your attention. First of all, with the RIFE app, there is no voice analysis. And in other words, it is up to you to decide and select any one of these items that you wish to provide balancing for. To go ahead and to activate the process,
arthritis,
you would select the item,
anemia,
and then at the
fatigue,
top
adrenal burnout
corner, in the top, you have the area where you can select the time. Now this time is very important. If you go ahead and select 10, what this is implying is that depending on how many frequencies are in this specific item, it will spend a total of 10 seconds per item. Now, a lot of these items, we have 10, 15, 20 different frequencies. So your time duration is going to be the 10 seconds times it by the 20 or the 30 different frequencies that we have. So to give you an illustration, I'm going to go ahead and click on play. And as you can see, the duration here noted by this box which has appeared is the duration is 1 minute and 40. Even though we only set it for 10 seconds, but because we have numerous items, it adjusts accordingly. So please certainly bear that in mind. Let me go ahead and click on stop.
There we go. Let's go into, again, one of the other ones in here. Let's take a look at this. This is called, are you ready? Histotripsy, okay? This is their word for biofeedback in sound waves or ultrasound in the hospital, using it for kidney stones and other things. Now cancer tumors worldwide, so why isn't your doctor telling you about this? Or better yet, you can have a device that you can look after yourself or your entire family for a couple $100s. So taking a look in here, this is absolutely amazing. So all these things can be accessed, and again, take a look at, you may not be aware of it, but it's actually out there, you guys. Another one is Dr. Lee Bartel, University of Toronto, and they're talking about how they were using it for memory, for not only things, let's say, like dementia, but Alzheimer's, you know, all these things that are affecting people. And what we did is we're able to, again, plug in, do you need 7.8 hertz, do you need 40 hertz for the brain? And what they found is that people were getting
increase the number of neurons firing at 40 hertz and hopefully restore those circuits.
So what we're doing is we're actually doing what's called neuroplasticity, and you're actually increasing the brain capacity. So in other words, we're battery boosting there. So I wanted you to take a look at that because it's pretty fantastic, isn't it? So I wanted you to be aware of it. So I'm going to go into here and just show you how simple it is. This is the device as we're sitting here. And all you have to do basically is download the app at Insight Health Apps, or I will put the link underneath the video. And if you would like to have a consult or some assistance, give me a call. I will do consults for you. So let's take a brief look at one of these devices. And we're going to go directly in here, and you're going to see how we can interface in a matter of literally seconds. So once I actually go into my iPad or tablet here, what you're going to be seeing is the ability to access technology, the informational field. And again, I don't want you to think of this as 5G or EMF or anything along that line that's an issue, because what's going to happen is that you can run this off the grid. It's an app, which means it's like playing basically a record or a YouTube video. Okay, so nothing too bizarre. We are going to go into, again, you have got things in here for, let's say if you want to look at water, if you want to look at anything else in here, there are like literally many, many different things. So this bio-vibrational, bioacoustics, bioresonance is very much out here, and you can create your own frequencies. You don't need the same frequencies I do. So you're going to record your voice very quickly, and some of these in here you get at least a week to try every one of them out. So all you have to do is go on here and repeat the vowels slowly, A, E, I, O, U, for about 10-15 seconds. And then what it's going to do is it's going to create a computer thing. So it's almost like going shopping, right? It's like a barcode. And so what we're going to do is going to scan for you, and we're going to take a look at what's going into here. And so once it scans the voice, then we're going to go into actually what category. So once I scan the voice now, is it the terrain that I need? Is it deeper sleep I need? Am I missing rapid eye delta sleep here? Have I got an overload of heavy metals? Are my hormones out? What is it? So is it all the organs need a cleansing? And this is actually what it tells you to do. Plus you can go shopping and pick whatever else you want. Okay, so as we're trying to access higher consciousness or get a healthy immune system, or maybe you've been exposed to mungus, that's my new word, mold and fungus, right? That's a new one, mungus. Look at the digestive system. Look at all the hormones you can go into. And again, going into well-being, going into detox. Pick out any organ that you would like to go into. You know, is it emotional? Is it mental? Do you need more balance in your system? Do you want to just target an organ? You know, do you think you need a bit of a liver cleanse or a kidney cleanse, or you got high blood pressure? Whatever it might be. Is there pain? Are you having, again, negative self-thought? So all these different things, you just pick what you want, and it will start playing the frequencies and the tones that you need. Very simple. It's not rocket science. Let's go into this new Genius biofeedback that we're taking a look at here, and I'm just going to show you how simple this form of the solfeggio tone biofrequency is on why we're using bioresonance here. So let's take a look here. We're just going to run actually myself in here, and once you go into here, you can basically do as much or as little as you want. So once you actually load someone in, and you can preload it and actually send it to me, but I need to send you some links ahead of time. So if it's something you want to do, as we hit that red microphone, it's now recording my voice, and that's where I would be saying the A-E-I-O-U. This was developed, and you can actually see we are working on, do you see it's not a binary computer? It's in 3D. It's a trinary computer. Okay, so we're measuring in volts, amps, and resistance. Okay, and it's actually taking a look at the imprint to see how things are going here. Inside out, outside in, and go from there. I want you to take attention there. There's an analysis as opposed to, it's an intelligent analysis. So it's not per se AI, but we have the ability, let's say if all your things like low in this and low in that and low in this, basically it will say, hey, do you want to try this herb? Do you want to try this food? Do you want to try whatever it might be? So it's got some possible remedies for you. Again, that's the difference for having a professional consultant. You know, and again, you can only consult for what you're actually experienced and trained for. Don't go outside your scope of training. I'm amazed how many people are running these and have never gone to even a beginner class, which we have. So let's take a look here. We're going to begin the session. And we're going to re-plug this in here. Otherwise, we're going to lose the battery here. So again, that was a bad picture. Let's take a little better one here. So we're going to take a picture here. We're going to switch the camera around. And make sure when you take your pictures, you guys, is that you don't have a dog with you, you don't have your children, don't even have a picture, a family picture behind you. I want a clean, energetic picture here. Okay, so wow, you can see that. So let's begin the session there. And again, we're going to go to next. And literally, you can put an affirmation in. I am healthy. I am whatever. I create abundance. You know, all this. One button, begin analysis. Now, in here, I'm going to show you just quickly all the different codes you can access for free. You get everything that I'm going to show you here, except the libraries that we create afterwards. So there is, get this, not 30, not 40, not even 50,000 frequencies. There's 250,000 frequencies in here you have access to. And then you can make whatever you want on top of that. So I've made another 4,000 on top of that myself. And so that's what we call custom frequencies. We can co-write and put things in, like I was showing you how I brought my supplements in, or I went out to the garden and got, you know, a different herb, or I made a tincture in there. So again, you can go in here and put anything physically, mentally, emotionally, and then basically what we're going to do, let's say we're going to look at the aura. We're going to start with the aura, and then we're going to look at basically, I'll show you a quick way to do it, rather than sitting here for an hour. When you first get it, you want to read it all, but I actually know all the categories after about 30 years. I don't need to read them all. But it's really exciting when we first get started. So you'll have like 30, 40 herbs and 30, 40 oils, right? And 30, 40 Bach flowers and stuff like that. So there we go. We can take a look at that. And there's the core. The core is actually really important. That's your physical, and as you can see, different things are going in the biofield outside. So that's this energy here. That biofield goes out about 12 feet, so 6 feet. So when you start seeing all those segments, that's kind of what's been happening. So you can see there's something that I need to clean out. Probably somewhere about 15, 20 years ago, I've been carrying it in the field. Okay, so we have that, and then you can go into here, again, a different camera. As I've injured my knee and injured my back on that side, you can also see it's a little bit dense. It also is indicative I might need to get some alkalization, because that might run through the stomach meridian. So you can see there's also some stuff on the lower part again. That's a little bit beige, and again, we could go in and clean some of that. So again, let's just look at the categories. Do you have a biofield around you? We can look at that. We can look at your traditional Chinese medicine and go right down to which acupuncture point that you need. And we've got a lexicon for everything there to help you. So let's say you don't know, oh, let's say what if his solfeggio tone is. Every everything next to a number will have a little spyglass or search, and there it will tell you what it is. So if you don't know what 528 is, it will tell you it's the do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. So then you can go into your tuning fork and you can hear those frequencies, right? You can hear the ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, right? There you go. So you can hear that. But again, your phone or tablet can produce it. Again, you do not have 250,000 tuning forks here or 250,000 herbs or oils at the right frequency. This is where we come in with these sound generators. So there we go. That's pretty cool, isn't it? And in here, we'll just go through quickly all of that again. Let's take a look here. We looked at traditional Chinese medicine. You can do solfeggio tones, anything you want to do individually. Let's say I want to do a solfeggio tone, or I want to do this with my tuning forks. I actually have a library here that will tell you which tuning fork out of all of these to pick. So we can pick them individually. What's the next thing we can go into? We can go into spiritual protection. Again, might need some grounding. Maybe you need some water. Maybe there's a crystal. Maybe there's some copper. Maybe there's certain things around there that need to be cleared out. There's also the chakras. And again, which just means wheel of light, which we're talking about the biofield, and again, the visible spectrum. So people call it chakra, you might call it the visible light spectrum. Okay, ultraviolet, UV, all sorts of things going in here. Brain anatomy. Okay, all those things are in here. Okay, head injuries, neurotransmitters. Why would they be out? Again, digestive, hormones. Let's go right up here. EEGs. Not firing properly, emotional trauma. And then let's go right into the Bach flower. So again, physical, mental, emotional, they all tell you which are some of the better ones. Chemical sensitivities, perfumes, solvents. You're using with Dawn instead of 7th generation. Amino acids, the precursors to your protein, guys. So maybe you just need some hemp seeds, hemp hearts. Digestion, is there something with mercury fillings? Is there periodontal going on? Small intestine, SIBO. Do you need some oxy powder for that? Stomach, do you need some baking soda or some pH happy packs from Suede Hills? Liver, gallbladder, low enzymes. Do you need some digestive enzymes to take down, whatever's going on, break down the food or the inflammation or the pain in there? That's where you're seeing a lot of people with the spiking. They needed those serapeptides or different enzymes to break things down more. What kind of stress are we looking at? And again, low, 0 to 200, 200 to 4, 4 to 6, and 6 and above. So the red and the blue. Blue is chronic, old, hypo. Again, the red, we just want to look at that, and the blue to see what's outside the, normal spectrum. And again, connective tissue, some acid. Again, with an injury, as I just told you I had, it's telling me I'm still too acidic. It's like lactic acid. Remember, stress, Wi-Fi, 6G, 7G, all those things, being around people spiking or shedding on you will create acidity, okay, with acute radiation. Let's go into the spine. How about we do this instead of necessarily, you can look at your own spine and just play at the bottom, and it will start doing a massage or like an internal subtle energy frequency chiropractic, or, like cranial sacral, things like that. When you go back here, we can go to the spinal and just hit spinal energy, and you'll see it will do what's really low. If I hit it again, there we go, all the inflamed things. So subluxed, inflamed, twisted, whatever. So it gives you some stuff. We can look at vitamin patterns. And then we can go into hormones, high and low. What organs are being affected. What herbs, so this is the most important things, or what herbs are you requiring? Is it the herb? Is it an essential oil? What frequency do you require? Minerals are one of the most important things. You need all those minerals to run. That's why one of the best things is doing Soleil with Celtic sea salt water or something similar. Okay, going into the infections, and we can drill that down into our radionic, that entire book. So we have literally like 250,000 worth of toxins we can look at, right? What kind of fungus? Aspergillus, Candida, Serratia, all those sort of things. E. coli, MRSA, all those things are available here. Body systems, again, we have systems, almost like acupuncture points, right? Acupuncture meridians. And again, we're going to take a look into here. Sensitivities, you call allergies. Okay, I don't take usually animal fats or anything like that, more vegetarian, vegan based. Maybe avoiding the coffee. Coffee is causing the acidity and leaching everything, and then people have all this hip pain lately. Essential oils. I don't know if you can see back here, but I have a plethora of essential oils here. Therapeutic, organic. You can either get them one for like Key Aroma or New Directions or something, or one of the other companies again, or get some really simple ones here from these kits. They're even available on Amazon, you guys. So therapeutic or organic essential oils. And again, they can be taken on the skin internally and externally. And then again, looking at electrical, Wi-Fi. Are you spending too much time? Are you not going in? And again, the glands. What's affecting here? So once we go in, I can go in and I'm just going to pick all my little tray here, and I'm going to hit, you know what? Hit all those red items. And I'm going to hit maybe all the blue items too. Maybe that's something that I need to do. And we're just going to actually put all those things in here. We're going to set my timer and put it to wherever you want. And again, then you're going to run the frequencies inside here, right? So now we're going to run the frequencies in. And again, you do not hook up with headphones or anything like that. Headphones are safe, but using other things are not always. Right? So one of the things is, again, not to use these type of devices, any device, if you had those pre-existing conditions I talked about. Okay, there are some conditions, like I said, if you've been injected, if you've taken those needles, if you have pacemakers, if you have drug dispensing units in you, you don't use these. Okay, if you're pregnant, you don't use these. How could we use these safely? Is again, rather than using magnetic therapy, okay, or neodymium magnets, you can just use some simple headphones or get one of these here and then run your water or your essential oil and use it as a secondary vector. So there you go. That's just how simple it is. And we're going to let that run through. Okay, after we run this through 15, 20 minutes or half an hour, what will happen is that you will see a change in this particular device. You will see your aura change. You will feel energy coming up through you. And again, there are many different vectors that we can do that with here. Okay, so again, and some of the things too, you can get little toys like this and all sorts of things you can get. Okay, you can definitely go in and get these tuning forks. They can go out here after you've put essential oils on. And you can also put them on the acupuncture point. So this is almost like a chiropractor doing activator, or you're doing like acupressure. It's a sound. And there's an excellent book out there that a medical doctor put in. So let's take a look at those, shall we? So we're going to take a look at some really great books. And I suggest you better be home educated. There are books here on biofeedback that you can get. These are the textbooks that we use in the universities. Okay? So if you really want to get into it, you know, this is where you're getting your university and college textbooks here. Okay, so they are definitely available in here. These are the healing codes and stuff here. And again, Heal Yourself 101. The frequencies of rifing. And I just talked to you a little about raindrop and essential oils and using the solfegial tones. And again, lots of information, lots of charts. And again, this is using it in conjunction with tuning forks. So again, using your electrical herbalism, okay? Or what they'll call them is electrical pseuticals, okay? So again, there's a big difference between metamaterials and using something that is natural on that. So I wanted to leave that with you. And of course, if you want to go to Insight Health Apps and take a look at it, or have me take a look at you or give you a call, these books are actually, this handbook is not only how to download it, but where are all the different ways. And there's an entire thing here, as I showed you all those different trainings. There's training in here, and these are all the educations that you can go to on YouTube. And again, if you want to go in and have a session or preload your picture ahead of time, you can send your voice and picture to me, but you can certainly download this video. It tells you everything. Okay, so everything where you saw where I showed you that search engine or that little, you know, magnifying glass for more information, drill deeper, that's what that book is. So anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. I'm Karenann MacDonald. You can get a hold of me of Clan Mother, KLAN Mother 13@gmail.com. And also you can get a hold of me at Clam, not at all. I'm joking. I'm not a clam. I'm a calm. KALM protonmail.com. I showed you the Facebook. I'm also on Twitter, Telegram, MeWe, Discord, Instagram, and if that's not enough, Truth Social. So anyway, thank you for joining me, and let's have a healthy and abundant, and get in touch with your inner genius. Let's get that Insight Health Apps. And I want you, just before we go, I'm going to take a quick little view over there because most people have never seen that. So a lot of people call me back, but you know, if you want to go directly to the supplier, you can actually talk to the owner if you have any questions there, Ryan Williams, or the support staff that we do have. Because one of the things in here, we are pioneering these new fields. And when you go into the pioneering, it can be pretty amazing. Like I said, we are the forerunners in this technology and for developing things. So people won't have to put their things into ChatGPT and think they can get just drugs or a drug doctor or a pharmaceutical doctor or something like that, that we have the ability to do it naturally, holistically, and without any side effects. So that's one of the things you might want to take a look at in here. So let's take a look just briefly before we leave here again. I want you to take a look here. If you want to get some remote biofeedback, you can certainly get a hold of me, or they can get a hold of me. All the trials are here, you guys. And I want to just show you something. If you go down to the main menu and you just go down to software download links, this is where I'm telling you that you can go into all the different ones that I talked about. So there's like easily a dozen here. So there's your Genius, Apple, iOS, okay, or Android. There's your capsules that you can send off to us if you want to have it done ahead of time. There's the BioVibe. This starts at about under $20 a month. This is the only one that is basically a subscription. But again, you put your information here, you can put on the frequencies you need, and it will scan what you need for that moment in that time here. So that can go in here. It can also be paired with our magnetic frequencies, with our light technology, and with our sound wave equipment. Okay, so affirmations, if you need to put in, you want to hear about prayers, affirmations, mantras, you can put that in, and your voice, when you say it, will create basically a melody. So you can play back your song or the frequencies. You're going to, as A is 1, B is 2. You're doing almost like basically quantum numerology from a musical scale point of view. Also, you can use things to clear blockages and stuff like that. You can go into the RIFE, which we just talked about. So like I said, these are only a couple $100. And again, you have unlimited amount of frequencies. And we have different audio files and waves that you can actually adjust it to your preference. If you want an intense wave, a very little wave, if you're more sensitive, you know, all sorts of things. Sounds, you can turn it into even chimes or nature sounds. Again, if you want to get into emotional issues, and let's say water, a lot of people want to put, not only is this, you can get fractals and imaging in here. And one of the other things as well you can go into is essential oils. Like I said, I've got Young Living doTERRA. I have every essential oil as a aromatherapist in here. And then there's the Odyssey app, which I showed you, like the BioVibe. Again, you can try all of these out. Oh my gosh, you guys, like try them all out in here for free. I mean, my gosh, there's enough for weeks. If you can't get better and hook yourself up like a battery booster, I don't know what can. One of the things I wanted to bring into your attention here is how to go in and take a look at the training. Do look at the training here, because you've got where to download it, and that's where all your PDFs and all of these have got different things that you can click on and go directly to the YouTube. Anything you want, you can click on here.
The Genius app is a holistic wellness app that can analyze your voice wave patterns to detect stressors or
look how it's going to detect here.
The Genius app.
And these are the reports you can generate too.
Hundreds of modules and functions and thousands of body balancing frequencies. High and low numbers suggest imbalance or instability. Learn more by tapping the yellow chevrons. Be mindful of the numbers. Dig deeper and compare the body's reaction against thousands of substances.
How easy is this?
Repeating pattern. Drag and drop important items into the balance tray. Set the timing, then click start. At the end of the session, a percent rectification illustrates the success of that balancing frequency. Above 25% is considered a good percent rectification. The 3 balancing trays are the quick zap, quick balance, and main hold. The main hold tray allows for a deeper functional zone consideration and root cause investigation. The navigation tab allows access to a variety of Genius modules and data processing, created to help you learn more about you and your client's current.
There you go. How simple is that? So I wanted to thank you. The other one I'm going to talk about just right before we leave is something that's actually called the NEUROVIZR. And these are actually amazing devices that have come in that, again, they pair, sync, or interface with what we're doing. And this has just been amazing technology I've been using here, because what you can do is put on a little head visor here. And this head visor can allow you basically to put lights and sound on here. So one of the things I'm going to show you is the NEUROVIZR that we do have, and it's really state of the art here, you guys. If you have not seen what the NEUROVIZR can do, you are really missing stuff. This is for, you're going to hear all these things for neurodivergence, neuroplasticity, but in here, the NEUROVIZR has been around for a couple of years, but we have now merged our companies, like a really nice marriage here, and you're going to see what these can actually do. So one of the things in here is that you can pick out of 144 different devices. And in here, once you pick this out, basically what you can do is you just strap this on. It's really nice. It's really simple. So I'm going to just show you briefly how we do this, because I think it's really state of the art. My clients and myself, I'm just loving this. I'm using it with the tuning forks, with the biofeedback, and using the oils all at the same time. I did a client today with the NEUROVIZR, and we used the vaginal steam chair. So they are on an inner sweat steam because they were having extremely sore backs, hip pain, can barely walk, they're limping. And guess what? We've got the swelling down already, and it made a huge difference. But again, you can reset and retrain the brain, because we are being attacked 24/7 from all these different satellites and towers and millions of different, cell phones. I mean, for almost everyone has a cell phone. That means it's like a signal going off here. So those are one of the things we want to take a look at. And what I'm going to just show you is the NEUROVIZR, so that you're aware of it, because it's really kind of cool, guys. So let's just take a look at the NEUROVIZR, shall we, for just a minute before we partir here. Let's take a look.
Protected bag.
It's very lightweight. It's just about the same weight as almost wearing like a baseball cap
around your head, ensuring the front part is just above your eyebrows for optimal comfort and efficiency.
When you don't do it,
turn on the device by holding the power button for 3
fresh
seconds.
eye surgery.
The flickering of the LED rose will give you a quick glimpse of the device's charge level. A single LED will blink in the lower left corner, signaling that the light box is ready to connect. Attach the light box to the headband by clicking it into place.
And again, you can put it anywhere else on the body, but you will not see the inner fractals.
Put on your headphones to fully immerse in the upcoming
so
session.
Visual, Hemisync, Holosync,
Open the Visor app
40
on your smartphone
hertz.
and click to connect your device. Choose the session you wish to experience. Adjust the brightness to your comfort level using the slider within the app. For an enhanced experience, select the breathing session you'd like to include before and after your main session, and manage the sound directly from your mobile phone.
So
Click
meditation
play,
can be
close
added
your eyes,
optionally
and
if you
enjoy
want
the
to.
journey.
So again, everything that they put into that RIFE can also then be added into this. Okay, so you have the potential, instead of 144, to go to over 250,000. Pretty cool, hey? Now, I'm going to have you take a look here. If you have some questions, there are actually Navy doctors, Navy SEALs, even doctors that are actually psychiatrists, if you can imagine, that have been using this kind of technology. And Dr. Cody is one of them. So if you haven't had the opportunity to take a look at that, I would highly suggest you do, because it is absolutely mind-blowing to go into this. So if it's something even you just want to go into the NEUROVIZR, we could definitely take a look at that. And one of the things in here that you will see is that when you've had the doctors or psychiatrists using these kind of light therapies, and what they're saying is it's basically replacing actually microdosing. So if that's not pretty cool, I don't know what else is. So you can actually use some what's called microdosing with this. So instead of having a psychedelic experience, you will see the fractals without any of the side effects in there. So that becomes one of the interesting parts of what we're seeing. And in here, what we're finding is that what you call heart rate variability. And what they have found is that you're improving every different fraction of your biological immune system, which is incredibly amazing. So when you get into that and you start learning about what this is called heart rate variability, let's just listen for a second here.
During the night. Now next one, the brain gym and the brain optimizer. I think those are more similar in terms of what you get out of it.
So these are things that you're seeing, and again, back to the charts, they'll show you the charts of what they've got and what they've found over time here, that you're increasing the heart rate variability. And this is an amazing kind of technique as well. So, I mean, who doesn't want to be less stressed, have more brain power, putting these things back into, you know, an area of natural health that takes the mystique out of that. So again, what you're doing is you're seeing something really special. It's not artificial, and basically it can provide real neurological stimulation. Again, not to be used if you have photosensitivity, or you've had a recent surgery, or let's say you have seizuring. Again, you could use it, but I would put it on there. So if we're going to use it, basically we're going to use some of this actually into basically, let's say for sports. We're doing a lot of them for sports education and all sorts of peak performance. You know, who doesn't want to have that higher peak performance? So let's take a look at here a little bit and see what they have to say about the NEUROVIZR with peak performance here.
Before battle, a fighter sharpens body and mind. Every strike, every breath, a step closer to victory. But strength alone is not enough. The mind must be faster than the body, focused, unshakable, unbreakable. This is where NEUROVIZR steps in, a new edge for athletes. Neurological training, psychological focus, performance unlocked. From training to triumph. NEUROVIZR. Because victory begins in the mind.
And again, those are some of the things as well, you know, just to learn a little bit about this. So I really encourage people to take a look at this, and I want to thank you again for joining me. I'm Karenann MacDonald. If any of these different ideas, or maybe you just want to have a consult, you're not feeling well, you want to know how to wean off something, how people have done this, you know, what the resources are out there, I'm very happy to refer you on to different people within the field. And again, if you would like to have a demonstration, give me a call. If you would like to have sessions, 30, 60, or 90 minutes, let me know. Primarily, I work on Zoom and on Telegram, on FaceTime. We can even do the old-fashioned different version. Again, these are going to be much more effective than when you're hearing about Fleafly and other things out there that are available where people are just distancing you without having the proper scan. Sending just frequencies to different people can trigger them in an incorrect way. And we've actually had people go into some of these rooms that are running supposedly benign frequencies and come out with side effects, or increase or exacerbate it. And you may not notice it for 2, 3, 4 weeks, or even 2, 3, 4 months. Just like when people take chemotherapy, their hair doesn't fall out day one, does it? So let's take our basically power back, get empowered, find out the information to do. Again, you can do with your children, grandchildren, you can do pets, the house clearings, whatever you want. This is like doing feng shui. This is much more effective, I find, than doing people with Reiki and stuff like that. The subjectivity comes out of there, and the client is doing their own healing. Your voice, your picture, your frequencies. Have a blessed day, and we look forward to hearing from you. Take care, and if you have any questions, please put them in the chat below. Take care, and it's been lovely getting to know you. And again, enjoy this time. This is the time that we need to be having fun and basically getting in here and doing what we can, one step at a time. Thank you. Get your synergy on. Get your biofield on. And then we'll teach you how to do your biofield practice, but actually see how it's improving it immediately after your workouts, your meditation, however you want to do that. Let's see what's enhancing it. We could even tell you which oil or herb is helping you and some things that may not be doing what you really need to have. Thank you.